I had lived in that apartment for quite some time. It wasn't much, just a small unit in a 4-story building with only 2 apartments per floor, separated by a narrow hallway. My door faced the only other apartment on my floor, and for the longest time, that apartment remained empty. At least that's what I was told. The building itself was old, but its most unpleasant feature wasn't the creaking floors or the dimly lit hallways. It was the building manager. He was a fat, obnoxious man, always prying into people's privacy, lingering in places he had no reason to be. A creep. One time late at night I had this strange feeling, like someone was standing outside my door. I tiptoed over and looked through the peephole, and there he was, just standing there, not knocking, not moving, just listening. I stepped back, held my breath, and waited. 10 minutes passed, nothing, and then suddenly a knock. "Who is it?" I called out, already knowing the answer. "It's me. I'm here to collect the maintenance charges." I opened the door, handed him the cash, and slammed it shut. Something about him made my skin crawl. A few minutes later, curiosity got the better of me, and I peeked through the peephole again. He was still there, just standing. I stomped my foot loudly against the floor. He flinched, startled, then scurried away like a rat caught in the open. Weeks passed, and I tried to ignore the unease that came with living under his management. But then, one night, I heard voices outside my door. Driven by curiosity, I leaned in and looked through the peephole. Across the hallway, the door to the supposedly empty apartment was ajar, and there he was, the building manager, standing just inside the doorway, speaking to a teenage boy who barely looked 16 or 17. I couldn't make out their conversation, just low murmurs, but then something happened that sent a chill down my spine. The building manager suddenly turned his head and looked straight at my door, at me. He couldn't have seen me. There was no way he could have known I was watching, but the way he stared felt as if he did. Slowly, he shut the apartment door. I stepped back, my heart pounding. I told myself it was none of my business. I shouldn't be a peeping Tom myself. But the next night, something else happened. When I came home from work, I could have sworn I heard something from the apartment next door. Faint sounds, barely noticeable. Later that night, as I was drifting off to sleep, a new noise came. A dull, rhythmic thumping. Furniture moving, maybe, but the apartment was supposed to be empty. The next morning, on my way out, I casually asked the building manager, "Did someone move in next door?" He looked at me, blank-faced. "No, it's empty. No one's been in there for months." I frowned but didn't push it. Maybe I was imagining things. That night, just as I was about to enter my apartment, I heard it again. A muffled noise, followed by a rhythmic thumping sound from the empty apartment. I froze. My instinct screamed that something wasn't right. I stepped inside my apartment and immediately called the building manager. He answered quickly, his tone dismissive. "Probably a wild animal got in. I'll take care of it," he said. I stood by my peephole, watching. The thumping sounds continued. Then moments later, the building manager appeared, walking briskly down the hall. He paused outside my door, glanced at it, then turned and unlocked the other apartment. He stepped inside and shut the door behind him. The thumping noise stopped instantly. It was complete silence. Then a loud single thud, followed by a muffled sound, louder this time, almost like a cry. Then nothing. I told myself I was overthinking things. I went to bed, but I barely slept that night. The next morning, as I left the building manager was waiting at the entrance. "Just so you know," he said with a grin, "it was a wild raccoon. Got in through the vents. Nasty little thing, but I let it out." I nodded, but said nothing. Something about his tone made me uneasy. A month later, I was at the train station when I saw a missing persons flyer pinned to the wall. A teenage boy. He'd been missing for over a month. My heart sank for the family as I stood there, staring at the flyer. I got on the train, reached my office, and then, like a bolt of lightning, it struck me. I shot up from my desk and rushed back to the train station, my heart pounding. I needed to see that flyer again, and when I did, I froze. A cold electric jolt ran through me. I knew that face. It was him, the boy I'd seen through my peephole, standing in the doorway of the apartment across from mine, talking to the building manager. I called the police immediately. When the authorities arrived at the building, they questioned the building manager. He denied everything. "I've never seen that boy before in my life," he insisted. "That apartment has been empty for a year." They turned to me. "Mr. Malik, are you absolutely sure?" one officer asked. "It's hard to make out faces through a peephole, let alone identify someone." But I was sure. I told them about the sounds, the thumping, the muffled noises, the strange way the building manager had reacted when I asked about the apartment. At my insistence, they agreed to check inside the apartment. I went with them. It was empty. No furniture, no belongings, just an abandoned space. One officer crouched near the corner, running his fingers over something, faint scratch marks on the floor. Before he could say anything, the building manager immediately interjected. "A wild cat got in. Filthy thing. Shat all over the place. I had to wash the whole floor." He turned to me. Mr. Malik himself made me aware of it. I opened my mouth to argue, but the officers already seemed uninterested. The police took him in for further questioning, but then they let him go. "He seems like an honest man," they said. A few months later, I moved to another city, wanting to leave it all behind. Shortly after, I heard that the building manager had died. A freak accident. He had fallen off a ladder. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I hadn't seen the boy, but as I sit here now writing this, one detail won't leave me alone. That night, he told me it was a raccoon. To the police, he said it was a cat. And here's the strangest, weirdest thing. There are no raccoons in this part of the world. Thank you for watching aikdastaan, where every tale is a testament to the human spirit and every voice resonates with the truth as they perceive it.